Hello everyone. I Assistant Professor Prakati Shetty from Department of Microbiology, KG Somaya College. Today in this online lecture we will learn about the nanotechnology part, which is coming under your agricultural and environmental microbiology unit in the MB 346. So now we will start with the introduction to the nanotechnology. So as we will see what is nanotechnology, first let us understood that what is nanotechnology. So as the word says, it is a technology that related with the nanoparticles, which is very minute particles having the size less than 100 nanometers, and hence this technology, the process is called as the nanotechnology and the particles are called as the nanoparticles. Now, from which sources we can synthesize or we can get these nanoparticles? So we can produce these nanoparticles from the metal ions, from the metal salts, from the volcanic ashes, using the microorganisms, using the viruses, using the plant extracts, using the templates, also using the forest fires. Now this nanotechnology has great applications in the great applications in almost every field that coming under the human well-being or human use. So now this wide applications in various fields include the cosmetics, then include the drug and the medicals industry, automobile industry, textile industries, clothing industries, etc. We will see the applications of the nanotechnology later on. Now we will see the two important approaches by which we can synthesize these nanoparticles. So first one is the bottom up approach and the second one is the top down approach. Now we will look each one, starting with the bottom up approach. As the name says, and as you can see in this arrow, it's pointed upwards. This means that the bottom up approach deals with producing the larger components or the larger complex unit using the smaller components. This is the bottom up approach. Now this approach can be carried out using the chemical forces or the physical forces which is operating at the nanoscale level to assemble the basic units into the larger structures. So this is the bottom up approach. Basically, bottom up approach is the producing the larger things or the larger complex material or the compound using the smaller molecules or the smaller atoms. So examples in the bottom up approach are, the first is the indium gallium arsenide quantum dots can be produced by growing the thin layers of this indium gallium arsenide on the gallium arsenide. So these particles are then collide and then clusters and then produced the quantum dots of the indium gallium arsenide. The second example include the formation of the carbon nanotubes. Now these carbon nanotubes can be made using the help of the carbon nanoparticles. So in this also carbon nanoparticles will accumulate, will get together and will collide with each other, and then to produce the larger complex things we can call it as the carbon nanotubes, and this nanotubes has the wide applications in different industries. Now we will see our second approach, that is the top down approach. Now in the top down approach, this approach is complete opposite of this previous one, that is the bottom up approach. In this top down approach, what we are going to study, what we are going to see, the top down deals with producing the smaller particles, smaller size units from the large complex material or large complex things. So they seek to create the smaller devices by using the larger ones to the direct their assembly. So this is the complete opposite of this bottom-up approach. The most common top-down approaches to the fabrication involve the lithographic patterning techniques with the help of short wavelength optical sources. So now as you can see, this arrow is pointed downwards, whereas in the bottom up approach the arrow was pointed upwards. So as the arrow indicating that the smaller compounds are used to produce the bigger complex product. So this is the top down approach. So in this diagram, as you can see, there is a comparison. We can study the comparison between the top down and the bottom up. In the top down approach, there is a bulk product, there is a bulk compound, and from that it is breaking down into two smaller powder forms. Now this powder is again breaking into these more smaller particles. We called them as the nanoparticles. Now you see at the bottom up approach. Now these are the small little atom particles. These atoms will produce the clusters of the atoms. These clusters of the atoms can produce the nanoparticles. So now you will understand the two approaches, the top down approach and the bottom up approach. Now we will see the synthesis of these nanoparticles. So there are three main ways to synthesize the nanoparticles: the physical method, the biological method, and the chemical method. Physical methods means with the manual practicing, with the man-made machines or with the man-made processes. Now the biological ones with the help of microorganisms, with the help of plant extracts, or with the help of the other biological products. And the third one, which is the chemical method. As the name says, use the chemical compounds, different type of chemicals to synthesize the nanoparticles. Now we will more concerned to the biological methods. Now the biological methods also have the three subtypes, such as the using the microorganisms, second using the plant extracts, and the third is using the template. Now what are the templates? Such as the DNAs, viruses, membranes, diatoms. We use these templates in many experiments, in many genetic experiments. So we can use these templates to also synthesize our nanoparticles. Now in this biological methods, we will focus on to the synthesis using the microorganisms. So synthesis using the microorganisms, as we know, microorganisms has a wide variety of properties and the abilities. So one such abilities microorganism possess is to produce the nanoparticles using the cell and the metal ion interaction. Cell metal ion interaction. Using this interaction method, they can interact with the metal ions and they can produce the nanoparticles from these metals. So this property that is present in some microorganism is used to separate the metal ions from the wastewater. These metal ions can be toxic to the environment and to the wildlife, animals and the beings. So we can use this microorganism to separate the metal ions from that wastewater and to detoxify this water or to recover the water quality. So now we will look on to the four main mechanisms which is used by the microorganisms. As I previously mentioned, the metal ion microbe interaction. So this is the interaction between the metals and the other microorganisms. So between this interaction, what can happen? So there are four main mechanisms used by the microorganism. Now we will see one by one, starting with the brown box. In that, H2S producing microbes. As we know, there are many bacteria that can produce the H2S gas. Now this H2S can oxidize the organic sulfate that is present in the environment, and therefore this H2S acts as an electron acceptor for metabolizing this organic sulfate, and this mechanism can be used to synthesize the nanoparticles. Now second mechanism, coming to the yellow one, the second mechanism is the ions that are present with the metal salts. Ions from the metal salt will enter into the cell of the bacteria or the microbial cell body, and now once our salt from the metal ions gets entry into the microbial cell, the microbial cell will convert these metal ions into the non-toxic forms, which is not harmful to the environment, or it can cover these metal ions with the protein coat for protection for the cell. Now the third one, the green box. Look into the green box. Now there are some microorganisms that can secrete the polymers such as the polysaccharides, and as they can secrete the polymers, so they possess the groups such as the hydroxyl group, carboxyl group, phosphate, and the anionic groups. Now as we know, this possess the negative charge and thereby making the metal ion complex extracellularly. Now say as example the Fe plus. Fe is the positively charged and these groups are the negatively charged, so they can interact with each other, they can bind to each other, and therefore they can produce the metal ion complex extracellularly. They can produce nanoparticles extracellularly. Now coming to the fourth box, violet color box, we have the microbial cells. Microbial cells can use the processes such as oxidation, reduction, methylation, demethylation, etc. And with the help of these processes, they can react with the metal ion. With the help of this process, they can reduce the metal ion, they can oxidize the metal ion, they can methylate the metal ion, or they can demethylate the metal ions. These are the mechanisms, certain mechanisms which can also be used by some microorganisms for their metal ion cell interaction. So these are the four main mechanisms used by the microorganisms for synthesizing the nanoparticles. Now we will see the synthesis of the nanoparticles with the examples of some microorganisms. So starting with the Pseudomonas species, Pseudomonas struzeri. This strain of the Pseudomonas is able to accumulate the silver particles inside and the outside of their cell wall. This property is present in the Pseudomonas strain, which is able to accumulate silver particles inside their cell wall, also outside their cell wall, and therefore they can expose to the high concentration of silver salt such as AgNO3. And once they expose to this high concentration of silver salt such as AgNO3, the silver nanoparticles of different shapes can be produced intracellularly, having size less than 200 nanometers. Please note the sizes of the nanoparticles which are made by the various microorganisms. So what does the Pseudomonas do? Pseudomonas struzeri strain is able to accumulate the silver particles inside and outside the cell wall, and therefore if we expose the cells to the higher concentration of the silver particles such as silver salt, such as the AgNO3, they can produce the silver nanoparticles of numerous different shapes intracellularly, that means inside the cell, and with the size having the less than 200 nanometers, right? So next we will see the synthesis of nanoparticles using Lactobacillus strain. So as we know, Lactobacillus is a probiotic bacteria and can be present in the milk and other dairy products. So this strain is also able to synthesize the nanoparticles, silver nanoparticles. Now the low concentrations of the metal ions exposed to this strain, the lactobacillus can produce the metal nanoparticles. Remember the previous one, the Pseudomonas strain is exposed with the high concentration of silver, and in the lactobacillus case the concentration of the metal ions, the silver, is low, is present in the low level, so they can produce the metal nanoparticles, especially the silver nanoparticles. So now with this strain we can also synthesize the alloys, which is the mixture of two metals, and when a mixture of two metal salt is exposed to the bacteria, the alloys can also be obtained under the certain conditions. It requires certain optimum conditions which is required for producing the alloys. So in this picture you can see the different sizes of the silver nanoparticles which is synthesized using the lactobacillus strain and which is captured under the scanning electron microscope. So this is the nanoparticle, this how it looks. This nanoparticles is synthesized with the strain, lactobacillus strain. When exposed to the low concentration of the metal ions, it can produce the metal nanoparticles, example the silver nanoparticles. Now we will see the next one. Now the synthesis of the nanoparticles using the fungus. We saw synthesis using the bacteria, now we will come into the fungi. Now there are the two examples. First one is the Fusarium orysporum species. This species can produce the gold nanoparticle, silver nanoparticle. So now when we expose this strain with the gold and silver salt and we keep this exposure to the strain for 3 days, and they can produce the silver nanoparticle extracellularly. Now in these strains can use one of the mechanisms that I have mentioned earlier, the 4 mechanisms that are used by the microorganisms. So they can use one of these mechanisms to synthesize the nanoparticles. Now the second fungus, that is the second species, that is Thermonospora species. The Thermonospora is the extremophilic actinomycetes. Now this species can produce the gold particles when exposed to the metal salts, gold nanoparticles extracellularly. Now you can see both the species producing the nanoparticles extracellularly, whereas in the bacteria they can be produced extracellularly, also intracellularly. So now we saw in this lecture what are nanoparticles, what is nanotechnology, what is some use of the nanotechnology, what are the two important approaches, bottom up and the top down approach. Then we saw the synthesis using the biological methods. In the biological methods we saw synthesis of nanoparticles using the microorganism. In the microorganism we saw 4 main mechanisms used by the microorganism in the metal ion and the cell interaction. After that we saw some examples of the bacteria that can synthesize the silver nanoparticles or the gold nanoparticles. In that we saw the Pseudomonas strain and the Lactobacillus strain. After that we saw the synthesis of nanoparticles using the fungi, that is Fusarium orysporum and the Thermonospora species. I hope you understand this lecture. If you have any doubt, please ask in the comment section. Thank you for watching.